What's your take on the viability of the vaccine?
Well, this looks very exciting. I believe we will get an emergency use authorization, and then I hope that we can start vaccinating sometime in December. Healthcare workers likely will go first, and that will take us some time, and then down the road, people more seriously affected with COVID, such as people age 65 and older, and then months later, the general population. And I would expect the Moderna vaccine will be close behind, so we'll have, I hope, 2 vaccines available. We need all the help we can get.
In terms of kind of the effect that I'm going to get if I take this vaccine, is this something that I'm going to have to do on an annual basis, a biannual basis? What kind of response is my body going to generate that will protect me in the long term?
That's a long-term question. So let's get the vaccine in people first, and then we can follow them. Really, we have to do that seriously so that we can then determine whether we have to be revaccinated, and if so, at what interval. But that's a downstream question. The first question is, when will the vaccine become available? Where will it be? Who should get vaccinated first? And let's start moving the vaccine from the refrigerator into arms. You know, vaccine never prevented disease. Vaccination prevents disease.
So, but to that point, I wonder, in order to do that, the downstream part of it, you have to keep on getting different variations of the vaccine and still work on it. If the vaccine is out in the public, are you going to have a hard time finding people willing to do the placebo and be part of the testing to make the vaccine even better, if that question made any sense?
It does. And so far, actually, the virus, in its essential component, we call it the spike protein, has been very, very stable. So at the moment, unlike the flu vaccine, which has to be changed on an annual basis, at the moment, we think we probably don't have to change the vaccine, perhaps at all, downstream. But we will determine that down the road.
Interesting.
Temperature seems to be a critical factor in terms of distribution, and certainly the Pfizer vaccine thus far needs to be stored at super cold temperatures. How quickly do you think these vaccines will be able to be reformulated to make them more stable and therefore more able to be distributed?
Well, the Pfizer vaccine will be distributed to key locations where the very cold temperatures can be managed appropriately and the vaccine programs can be administered sufficiently to use that vaccine. The Moderna vaccine is much more likely to be able to be distributed to doctors' offices and pharmacists. So we'll have many more locations where that vaccine can be distributed. My understanding is Pfizer's working on trying to make their vaccine more temperature stable so we don't have to use these extremes of low temperature to maintain the vaccine.
Yeah, that's what the BioNTech CEO was mentioning as well, sort of maybe back half of next year, maybe. Okay, so we still have a lot of other vaccines in the pipeline. AstraZeneca, it seems like results could come out any second. What's the next milestone that you're watching?
Well, I think the next issue, of course, is the delivery system. Can we communicate effectively to the general population when it is that they should show up for vaccination and have them respond? There are a lot of skeptical people out there, so the effectiveness and the safety of the vaccine will have to be clearly communicated, particularly to minority populations, people of different ethnicities. They have already expressed themselves in surveys that they are even more reluctant to receive this vaccine. So we need to get them the information and the reassurance so that they can make good decisions and come in and be vaccinated.